Well, welcome to our Bible study. It's good to be here with you to learn a little bit about Jesus. We're only going to do 4 verses today, so this is a really short Bible study. It's a short Bible study. And in today's study, Jesus is going to heal a lot of people. And I just wanted to mention, you're going to be able to understand. This is not full with really heavy theology. You're going to be able to understand exactly what Jesus says today. All right, let me ask you this. Has God ever healed you? I don't know. I was pretty sick a few years ago and went to the hospital, and everybody was praying for me, but I got better, and I'm better now. And yeah. You see, God has a number of ways that he heals people. Sometimes he uses doctors to heal you. Sometimes he uses your body. He created you in a wonderful way that you have self-repair features in your body. Like when you get a cut, you get a scab, and the scab heals itself. And sometimes your body heals itself, and sometimes Jesus will miraculously heal. God will miraculously heal somebody, but not very often. Mostly he uses modern medicine that he created, that he's responsible for, or he uses the body to heal people. So I guess from that standpoint, we've all been healed by God quite a number of times. Well, let me ask you this question. When Jesus was on the earth, how many people do you think he healed? You think it was 10? No, it's got to be more than 10. I'm sure it was more. Yeah, I'm sure it was more than 10 too. How about 50? I'm sure it was even more than 50. I mean, he healed so many people. About 100. I think he healed 100 people. Maybe that's getting closer to the number. I think he healed more than 100, actually. How about 500? How about 1,000? I think those are more realistic numbers. And because there was many passages in the New Testament where many came to Jesus to be healed, and he healed them all. So maybe it was as many as 1,000. I don't know. I know one thing for sure. You can't tell for sure, but a lot. And Jesus is going to heal a lot of people in today's lesson. Well, here's our background. Remember a couple classes ago, Jesus fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves and a couple fishes. And then after that, he made the disciples get into the boat and head on out. And they were in the middle of the lake straining at the oars because there was a fierce wind against them. And Jesus came walking to them on the water. So Jesus walked on the water, and then he calmed the wind. Well, Jesus and his disciples are still in the boat at the beginning of today's lesson. Well, let's get into the scripture. Mark 6:53. When they had crossed over, they came to the land of the Gennesaret and moored on the shore. Now, what was the land of the Gennesaret? Well, it was a region, and you can see on the map, it was a region just a few miles south of Capernaum. And it was a farming region. It was flat and very fertile soil. A lot of people lived there, and most of them were farmers. I want you to note that the disciples came with Jesus. Jesus was in charge, and the disciples came with Jesus. Jesus brought them to the land of the Gennesaret. Here's my question for you. Where is Jesus going to take you today? And that's a good prayer. You wake up every morning, you say, Jesus, where are we going to go today? Where are we going to go today? We're going to go to work, and we're going to go to work, and maybe have something we need to do at work besides just the work. We're going to go to church today, or wherever we're going to go today. Jesus, where are we going to go today? Where are you going to take me today? It's a good prayer. I also want you to know that Jesus came to the people in this particular incident. Sometimes we go to Jesus. Sometimes Jesus comes to us. And a lot of times, the way it works is we are partners with Jesus. That's one thing I want you to think about today is how are you a partner with Jesus? See, remember when Jesus fed the 5,000? He did the heavy lifting. He was the one that multiplied the fishes and multiplied the loaves, but he used the disciples as his hands and his feet to bring the food he had created and give it to the people. And that's the way things often work with Jesus. You work in partnership with Jesus. Sometimes he comes to you, sometimes you go to him, but when you're together, you work together. And I guess I said that sometimes Jesus comes to you. Mark 6:54. And when they got out of the boat, immediately the people recognized Jesus. So why? Why do you think they recognized Jesus? Well, the truth was, he was a very popular guy. Jesus was a very, very popular guy. And everyone in Galilee, remember they're up north, they're in the northern thing of Galilee, and everybody knew about Jesus. Everybody knew that Jesus was a great healer, and they all had heard about Jesus, and they recognized him. And they knew about Jesus' healing powers. And the word spread like wildfire all through the land of the Gennesarets that Jesus is here. So you're that guy that heals everybody. Jesus is here. He's here in our land. So here's a question. They recognize Jesus. Where will you recognize Jesus today? Well, maybe you'll recognize Jesus when you're saying thank you for the food. Or maybe you'll recognize Jesus when somebody comes and does something nice for you today. Or maybe you'll recognize Jesus when you say, oh, Jesus is kind of nudging me. Go be nice to that person over there. Or maybe you'll recognize Jesus in your prayers. I don't know. But are you looking for him? Are you looking for Jesus today? You should be. You should be. And maybe when you pray that prayer in the morning and say, Jesus, where are we going to go today? Say, Jesus, help me to recognize you and the things you do for me today. Because it's important to Jesus that we recognize who he is and thank him for the things that he does for us. Mark 6:55, and they, the people that recognized Jesus, ran about that entire country and began carrying here and there on their pallets those who were sick. So many came to Jesus. Why did they come? They wanted to be healed. Who did they bring? They brought their friends. Hey, Jesus is here. Jesus is here. Come on, let's go get Saul. He can't walk. We'll help him get there. We'll help him get to Jesus. Maybe we can get Saul healed. And many, many brought their friends to Jesus. And here's an important takeaway from today's class. Friends bring friends to Jesus. Let me ask you this. If you had a friend who had incurable cancer, and you found the answer for that incurable cancer, wouldn't you go and take that friend and do whatever you could to get that friend to that answer for his incurable cancer? Wouldn't you do that? Would you do that for your friend? I'm sure you would. If you could bring somebody to a doctor to be healed, you'd bring them to a doctor to be healed. Well, you, as a follower of Jesus, have something even greater than the cure of cancer. You have the truths of the universe. You have Jesus. Because Jesus is the way to eternity in heaven. See, these people, if you got a cure for cancer, that would only be temporary. For 5 years, 10 years, I don't know, 20 years, maybe longer, but not a whole lot longer, because everybody's going to die. But you have the cure for eternal separation from God. You have the cure for, you have the knowledge of how to get to heaven through Jesus for eternity. And friends bring friends to Jesus. Now, here's an interesting thought. What did these people want? They wanted to be healed. They wanted their friends to be healed. They wanted Jesus to serve them. Here's the question. Do you serve Jesus, or do you expect Jesus to serve you? That's an interesting question. You can think about that. Who's the master? Jesus is the master. Who is his servants? We are his servants, but we're also his friends. We understand his business. That's what being his friends means. We understand his business. But do you serve Jesus, or do you expect Jesus to serve you? Jesus wants to do good things for you, and he will do good things for you. But you have to remember, Jesus is the master. We are his servants. Think about, you have a friend, and that friend's a rich guy, real rich guy. But the only time you see him or call him or talk to him is when you ask him for money. Oh, could you give me some money? I really need this. Oh, could you give me some money? I really need that. But you never do anything in return to him. You never show him friendship. You just want to get from him. There's an analogy here with some people. All they want to do is ask Jesus for things. They don't think that they need to serve Jesus. But the truth is, Jesus is the master. We need to serve him. Here's another interesting question to think about. Who did people back then, in the land of the Gennesaret, who did people think that Jesus were? Well, they thought for sure he was someone who could help them because they wanted to bring all their friends. They wanted to go to Jesus to be healed. I think some thought he was a magician. And Jesus was a lot of things. Jesus is not a magician. There's not a lot of sleight of hand here. Many, the people that came, thought Jesus was a healer. He's a great physician. He knows all about healing people. Some, I'm sure, knew that he was a great teacher, and they wanted to listen to him teach. Probably not as many as wanted them to heal them, but some thought he was a great teacher. They wanted to be around him. Some thought he was a great prophet, and he was a great prophet. I mean, he did all kinds of prophecy. Prophesied with Peter's denials, right? Prophesied that he was going to be arrested and tried and crucified and raised from the dead and all that detailed prophecy. He was a great prophet. Many people just thought he was a prophet. And others really knew the truth, that he was not only a prophet, a teacher, a healer, and someone who could help them. He was the Messiah and God's Son. Certainly the disciples knew that. Certainly those in the boat knew that. The question is, who do you think Jesus is? All right, 656. In fact, the last verse for today. I told you it wasn't a long study today. Mark 6:56, and wherever he entered villages or cities or countryside, they were laying the sick in the marketplaces and imploring him, please, please, that they might just touch the fringe of his cloak. And all who touched it were being healed. All who touched it. Multitudes came to Jesus for healing. They came themselves. They brought their friends. Multitudes. All were healed. And Jesus' ability to heal is amazing. His ability to heal is amazing. But his ability to save is even more amazing. And it's true, Jesus came here to teach and to show people who he was, and as proof he healed all these people because he really cares for the people. But ultimately, his goal was to die to pay the penalty for your sins and for my sins, so that we might believe and go to heaven. And his ability to heal is unbelievable, but his ability to save is even greater. All right, here's something for you to ponder when you can't sleep tonight. Why did touching his cloak heal? I don't have the definitive answer. There's been a debate over this over the centuries. Why did touching his cloak heal? Some might say the cloak had magical powers, and I want to tell you, that's not what it is. No piece of cloth has magical powers. Don't ever go and buy something and say, if you have this piece of cloth, you're going to get healed. No, that's a myth. Cloths don't have magical powers. But maybe people who touched this cloak got healed because it was connected to Jesus. And it somehow radiated his power for healing. I don't know, I suppose that's possible while he was in it. Or maybe it showed that whoever went and tried to touch his cloak had faith in Jesus that he could heal. And I think really this is really what it's getting to. It had to do with the faith. It's interesting that many of the commentaries don't even address this question. And but there's not a unified position. But I think what the deal is, I think that they showed their faith by going to Jesus. He came to them a little ways, but then they had to come from the countryside to where he was, and they believed that they could just touch his cloak and get healed. So we've been talking about serving Jesus. One of the main points of this whole class is that Jesus is the master. We are the servants. We are the servants. Jesus doesn't exist to serve you. You exist to serve Jesus. Now, Jesus likes to serve you. He likes to help you because he really loves you, and he did a great service for you by dying on the cross for your sins. But the question is, how can you serve Jesus today? Well, for sure, one way you can serve Jesus is obey his commandments. What did Jesus say? He said, if you love me, you obey my commandments. So if you think you're saying you love me, then you can obey my commandments. For instance, One of his commandments is to show love even to your enemies. So show love to everybody. You love your neighbor as yourself. Show love to everybody, even your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. That's hard. It's hard to show respect for somebody who doesn't like you, somebody that hates you. But it's really, really important. You need to show love. How can you serve Jesus today? One of the hard things to do is show love even to those who hate you. Pray for your enemies. I also wanted to mention serving Jesus is different for every person. What Jesus expects me to do is different from what he expects you to do. For instance, Jesus expects me to do this video ministry. He probably doesn't call you to do a video ministry. Maybe he expects you to do some other kind of ministry. I don't know. You have a different job than I have. Jesus expects me to show love to my wife, Linda, and for me to respect Linda and to love her. And he doesn't expect you to do the same thing. He expects you to show love to your wife, which is a different person. The people Jesus brings into my life are different than the people Jesus brings into your life. So he has something different for every one of us to do. Maybe he wants you to go and show compassion to somebody today, and he doesn't have that on the agenda for me today. I don't know. But everybody serves Jesus differently. And the key is to do the tasks that Jesus wants you to do. Do the task. He's got something for you to do. I don't care where you are, who you are, how intelligent you are, or how maybe simple you are. I don't know. Whether you're in a nursing home, whether you're a student, he's got tasks for you to do. Do them. That's how you serve Jesus. One of the big ways to serve Jesus is to accept the situation that you're in. For instance, if you're in a nursing home, you hate being there. You hate being in this nursing home. You don't like the aides because they're not good to you. The food is lousy. Maybe the living circumstances aren't that good. Accept that situation. Now, it's okay for you to say, I got to figure out a way to get out of here and work hard on figuring out to get to a better facility. That's good. I encourage you to do that. But while you're there, serve Jesus in that situation that you're in. Serve and show love to the people that are around you, even if you don't like the place that you're in. Work hard to accept the situation that you're in. It's one of the most important things you can do to serve Jesus. And then work hard to get into a better situation. That's okay too. Be a good postcard. Be a good postcard for Jesus. I'm going to tell you. One of the really horrific things that is going on right now in Jesus' church is that there are many people that are lousy postcards. Jesus telling his people, you go and love everybody. And what they're doing is they're going out and hating everybody. And that is a terrible postcard for Jesus. And people look at those, they say, I don't want any part of Jesus. Jesus says that his followers are supposed to love, but look what they're doing. They're hating everybody. They're not relevant to me. They're hypocrites. I don't want anything to do with Jesus. And that's what's happening in the church today. It's really, really hurting the church that there's a number of bad postcards for Jesus. In fact, I'm going to be doing a devotional, probably it'll come out. First one of the series will probably come out next week on this very subject. It's really important that we're good postcards for Jesus. You want to know how you can serve Jesus? Ask him. Ask him. Every morning when you get up, hey Jesus, good morning Jesus. Where are you going to take me today? Jesus, help me to recognize the things that you want me to do today. What can I do? How can I serve you today, Jesus? And that's an advanced prayer. It's a bold prayer because he's going to tell you what you can do to serve him. God, show me. Jesus, show me who I can show love to today. Show me how I can serve you today. Well, here's my summary. Jesus went to the land of the Gennesaret with his disciples to serve. He went there knowing what was going to happen to heal all those people. And many came to Jesus to be healed, and he healed many. I don't know how many. 100? You think he healed 100 there? Maybe. I don't know a lot. Remember, Jesus is not your servant. He is your master. Jesus is your master. Ask Jesus. Ask him every morning, Lord, where are we going to be going today? Where are we going to be going today? Ask him. And sometimes Jesus comes to you. Sometimes you need to go to Jesus. We saw that in this. And then Jesus went to that particular land, but a lot of people brought people to Jesus. And think about, where are you going to recognize Jesus? Jesus, help me to recognize you today. Help me to be looking for you today. Show me how I can serve you today. So, I've been asking you to pray 4 prayers, and we're going to have to cut down to 3 because this COVID thing, I believe, is almost done. But 4 prayers. First prayer I want you to be praying every day is pray for salvation for those around you. So you're a student. If you're a student, be praying for the other students, be praying for your teachers. Yeah, be praying for your teachers. And for Miss whatever, Mr. whatever, pray for your teachers. Pray for your family, your brothers, your sisters, your kids, your kids' kids. Pray for those around you. If you're in a facility, pray for the aides. Pray for salvation for everybody around you. Just a simple prayer. Pray for them, you just list them. I pray these people would be saved. Pray for an end to racism in the United States and in Jesus' church. I think part of this problem with being a bad postcard is there are some racists even in Jesus' church, and that's a really bad thing. Pray for an end to racism in the United States and in Jesus' church. Pray for protection from the virus. I think the nursing homes especially, their protection is there. Almost everybody in nursing homes had at least one of the vaccinations, maybe a second dose of the vaccination. But pray that this vaccination would get out to everybody. They're looking at having herd immunity maybe in April or May, and that's a terrific thing. That is a terrific thing. We're going to get by this coronavirus back to normal life. And lastly, pray against division in the United States. There's division in God's church. That hurts. It's bad postcard too. There's also division within our country. That's a really bad thing. Really bad thing. 4 prayers. Pray the 4 prayers every day. And now, there's only one thing left to say. Say it with me. Aloha. See you there. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.